45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They are open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week, located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttatoosandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, to sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the Ultimate Underground Metal Tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out.
In a broken wasteland, come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon my pyre. Oh, this is the Metal Forge. 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 Metal Forge. My furnace starts to glow with crimson coal.
Hey Siri, turn the firelight red. Have to get in the mood. What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Thank you all for tuning in, as I say every week, each and every week. This week, awesome shit. I have Taylor Roberts from Writing with Killers, Detroit's own Writing with Killers band. Awesome shit. They are a kind of a blend, you know, of kind of alt-rock metal with, there's some bit of traditional stuff in there, there's some bit of new metal stuff in there. It's all pretty fucking cool. And Taylor, not only being in Catharsis, he is also the guitar player for Taproot. So sweet, cool shit for that. We will be checking in with him in just a few moments. Holy shit, man, what a fucking week it has been. I just feel for everybody in the camp, you know, in my own personal, you know, camp, whether it be, you know, close friends, bandmates, whatever, you know. I'm here for you. We're here for you. Keep kicking each other's asses in gear, making sure we're putting out the best quality fucking content, music, podcasts, whatever it may be. But yeah, man, like, totally some rad fucking stuff coming down the pike. Got some great albums coming out. Got some new news coming out for the Metal Forge. Got some, that'll be here soon. Got some really fucking awesome guests coming on. Got another big goddamn metal show coming out in, October this year. Stay tuned for the info on, ticket links and artist announcements, band announcements, so on and so forth. I am going to try and, because it is going to be a big show and it is in October, we're going to try and do some pretty cool fucking shit with that. Taylor is here. He's just hanging out. We are going to talk with him and say, hey, dude, what's up? But before we do, let's go ahead and listen to Writing with Killers. Who wants to hear some? I know I fucking do. And like I said, I want to keep it short and sweet this week because we've got so much fucking awesome shit to talk about with Taylor. This is Hostility. right, metalheads, we are being joined this week, and by the time this is being recorded, we are in the frozen tundra of southern Indiana. So I don't know, how was Michigan? You're in Michigan this time, right?
Yes, and, I am in Michigan.
And this is Taylor, by the way, from Riding with Killers and Taproot. Dude, Taylor, what the fuck is up, man? I didn't even introduce you before asking a question.
Enjoying a beautiful Sunday afternoon, watching The Sopranos, playing some guitar, and just enjoying some time with the family.
Nice, nice. You've already mentioned The Sopranos, dude. And my best friend actually used to work for Little Stevie.
No way.
Yes. And she is awesome. She's amazing. She was his IT person. And the man is such a Luddite, apparently, that, like, he doesn't understand how servers work and why you have to have these giant fucking rooms of computational storage for all of your stuff, like all your video and your audio. And he's just like, what do you mean? I can't just go and play guitar? But no, dude, The Sopranos, I am a huge Sopranos fan.
Same. And the funny thing is I just started watching it like 2 months ago, and I'm already like, I've got like 7 episodes of season 6 left. Dude, my wife and I have been blasting through it. Like, I have fallen in absolute love with that series, man. Like, it's such a great time capsule of like the late 90s and early 2000s, and like dude, there were so many references to like Slipknot, Mudvayne, Coal Chamber, and just like all these bands that I grew up with. And like,
yeah, when AJ goes to the Mudvayne concert in New York and gets his eyebrows cut off. And Tony just looks at him. He's like, what's different about you?
What's different about you?
I mean, other than the fact that he didn't have fucking eyebrows. No, that is such a great show. And like you said, it is a time capsule for the late 90s, early 2000s. Because in the beginning of season 3, that is when they took out the towers out of the intro. Because in the first 2 seasons, they're still there in the rear view mirror, but in every subsequent episode, it's not. Which they do talk about things like the status of like the ports in New York and shit after 9/11, and he's like, "Could you imagine somebody coming in here with one of these nuclear missiles through the ports?" And it's like, shit, dude.
He's freaking the fuck out about it the whole time too. And they're like, "This is real. This is gonna happen." Like it's crazy. They captured that period in time so well. But like what a great like from the writing to the way that they film it, man. It's such an artistic show in so many different ways. And I'm honestly gonna be really sad when I finish it. Like,
yeah, but it's always worth a second and third and fourth watch.
That's going to be one that I'm going to want to go back and rewatch. Like, Macy and I watch Shameless, constantly. That's another great show.
My brother loves that show. He loves Shameless, and I like William H. Macy as well, just because, and I've wanted to get into that show, but haven't done it. So in The Sopranos, do you have, so far, a favorite episode?
Oh, wow.
Because I can at least name my favorite episode and a second scene that is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire series.
Okay.
So my episode would be Pine Barrens.
Okay.
Which is where Paulie and Christopher get stranded in the middle of the fucking woods in season 3. And they get into a big ass fight, and Christopher tells Paulie after losing his shoe, he goes, "I'll leave you here, you one shoe cocksucker." And they're just like complete, I'm from the country, okay? They're complete fucking city dudes out of their fucking element. They would have died. If they didn't have a cell phone, they probably would have died.
Dude, no doubt. And I mean, I'm a Mississippi boy. That's where I'm from. So totally,
right.
Totally safe over here. But I would say one of my, I forget the episode name because again, this is still my first run through. But so far, like, and I think as much of a piece of a shit that he kind of is, they all are really, but like Paulie's probably my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Which is the only one who was really connected.
Hilarious, dude. He's so fucking funny, and he doesn't even try to be, I feel. But it's when he goes to Italy, and he just has the worst fucking trip out of all of them. And my favorite scene of that is when he's like, yeah, I want some macaroni and gravy. Yeah. And he's like, and you thought the Germans were classless pieces of shit or whatever. Right. It's just like, it's so funny.
And then when they're going back, in that same episode, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's in season 2. It's where they meet the Dawn over there, and the Dawn is a woman. And it flips them out because they're like, what? Wait a minute. And she was the... Furio. Yeah, and she was married to the Dawn, and she was doing his business because it's, different culture over there. But no, when Paulie skips out on the meeting with the bosses to go back to the hotel to take a shit because the bathroom had 2 toilets that shared a seat.
Yeah.
And no stalls between them, and he fucking flips out. My favorite comedic scene in the entire show, other than the Pine Barrens episode, is in season 5 when Johnny Sack gets arrested. Spoiler alert, by the way. It's only a fucking 15-year episode, 15 years old. Yeah, right. When Johnny Sack gets arrested and he runs around the corner of his house and he slips and his legs go straight out from under him and he falls face first. Oh my fucking God. I can rewatch that scene to this day and laugh my ass off.
It's so good. And then Tony realizes they weren't even after him, and he's like, fuck, I could have just sat there.
Yeah, right. I don't know, though. Even if they weren't after him, I wouldn't have trusted that because they were after fucking Johnny Sack, which you would think seeing those two together would be like, oh, well, he's got to be up to something fucked up if he's over here.
Especially if he ran.
Yeah. Yeah, and he ran through the snow, throws his gun out. Fucking... yeah, oh my gosh, and then when he walks home from all that, and you hear his fucking feet squishing in his fucking loafers and shit, it's like, god damn, dude. I'm a big guy, and I already know when you get overexerted from having to fucking walk an extended distance, like a couple of miles because you got stranded, it's not good on anybody, let alone Tony being 300 pounds and fucking 6'4" or whatever, and just being oh my gosh, and wet feet too. Fuck that. But anyways, we went on like 10 fucking minutes on The Sopranos here because it's such a good show. But one more recommendation before we jump into Riding with Killers here is listen to the podcast Talking Sopranos.
Okay.
With Steve Sciarippa, which is Bobby Bacala, and Michael Imperioli, Christopher. They actually do, and this is not sponsored, this is just as a fucking fan, they actually do an episode-by-episode breakdown of the entire show as they rewatch it for the first time since it went off the air.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's totally rad. They have people on the crew there doing fucking interviews. They have cast members doing interviews. They have a 90-minute interview with David Chase, the creator. It is so cool. But yeah, man.
Suggestion.
Yeah, so Riding with Killers. Let's talk about that now that we're here and finally talking about it. Mr. Taylor Roberts here. Tell us about In Metal Forge Land about Riding with Killers.
So Riding with Killers is a band that I essentially started the idea of it when I quit my old band from the Gulf Coast, which is where I'm from. The band was previously known as Catharsis. We toured around the country like in the early 2010, 2000 from that to like 2010 to I'd say 2015, 2016, I had songs on the radio, we're doing the thing, then decided to change the branding, which I never really agreed with. Then there was just a big fallout, creative differences, all sorts of stuff. And I essentially quit a band that I started in my parents' garage because I was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. I'm walking away from my own project. I'm going to move. But I ended up in Michigan, and I ended up here because of Dave Coughlin. He's one of my absolute best friends. He's the older brother I never got to have. But he was the touring drummer for Taproot, which we can touch on that later.
Yeah.
But my first real national tour was in 2013. Catharsis did a radio festival in Gulfport, Mississippi, called CPR Fest. And Taproot was also playing, and we had done a club date with them a few months prior, and I started a conversation with Phil, and he weirdly remembered my name and my band name, which is funny because people used to mispronounce and misspell our band name all the time.
How many times did you get Cather Christ?
Yeah, dude. I mean, Catheter Fist.
Oh shit, really? Catheter Fist? Dude, that's a black metal band.
Like, it became a joke, honestly. Like we fueled it, I would say.
I mean,
because it was like, how fucked up can you make our band name? But dude,
basically, I'm in a band called Overload.
Tour. What's that? Sorry.
I'm in a band called Overload, and they still fuck it up.
Oh shit.
We have been called Overlord, Overloaded, Overladen, Grover Toad, which I don't get that.
Grover Toad, I like that one.
And I totally get the band name thing.
So, and luckily, I had a really great time at CPR Fest, which was put on by 97.9 CPR. My hometown radio station, and Phil and I just got to talking, and next thing you know, I was talking to his manager, Eric Baker, and through a bunch of conversations between Eric and I, we found a way to get a management deal, and then we ended up on tour with those guys, and I just became really great friends with all of them. They were all so kind, so sweet. I feel like I got spoiled on that tour because, Taproot was one of those bands that they were like one of the 6-7 concrete bands that made me want to continue to play guitar because I'm a new metal kid. That was the era I grew up in.
I get it.
And, we just developed a really great relationship. And then Dave and I kept in touch after we got off tour, and we still play Call of Duty to this day, 10, 11 years later. But I was like, hey man, I'm going to move to Detroit, and we're going to make a record. We're going to write some music. And he's like, yeah, whatever, kid. And I just left home, and I made a couple pit stops along the way. One very short stint in Ohio, a short stint in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I worked at Sweetwater for about a year.
Nice. I don't have a Sweetwater card, so I'm kind of glad that I don't.
I do, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous, but we're almost paid off. So, but I used my time at Sweetwater to essentially build my studio knowledge and get a bunch of studio pieces of gear because you get an employee discount. So
right.
I used it to meet people, to network, because that wasn't where I needed to stay, but it was a very great stepping stone, and I'm very grateful for my time there. But I ended up in Detroit, and Dave and I have just been writing a lot over the last couple of years, and the record we just released last December, we started writing that end of 2018, beginning of 2019, but COVID happened and everything shut down. So it's like, how do you finish making a record? Right. And then we had to jump back in whenever we got the chance. And, it took a long time to find like actual guys that were in the band. Cause Dave plays drums for Sponge now. Mm-hmm. I had Tim Krukowski working with me in studio for most of the record, or I would say about what's on the new record, about 40%. And then the other 60% was James Laskew from, he was formerly of the band Wilson and now in the band New Monarch. But I never really had like band members. I was just writing and trying to build.
You were essentially studio musicianing people.
Yeah.
And I mean,
basically, so I could get my art out there and start building, a record to where like, hey, now I can find people who want to be in this band. And I found those people through Chris Kress and Jed Thibodeau, Thibodeau is my buddy John back in New Orleans. But yeah, so, I finally found band members, I would say within the last year and a half, but like I've played scattered shows throughout the last couple of years. Like we did a festival date with Seether and Nonpoint, Bad Flower and Three Doors Down. Done some dates with Seven Dust and Tremonti, Alien Ant Farm, Taproot even. I did an opening for Taproot, which why not? It was fun to know that I could pull double duty and play essentially like almost a 3-hour set in one night and not kill over. So that was really cool to test my grit with that. But we're finally starting to get to where we're looking for more shows, looking for more, like if we found a week-long run somewhere, working towards getting back to the touring aspect of being in a band. So I've essentially been building this band underground for the last 4 years. And by doing so, because we had that issue with COVID between the first record, while we were finishing mixing and mastering and adding parts, I started a second record with Jacob Herman from Gothenburg, Sweden, and he's produced In Flames, Machine Head, Anthrax, Dark Tranquility. Like, I mean, dude, Jacob has done. I'm one of my favorite bands from Sweden, Vola. Which, if you've never heard of them, please God, go check them out.
I'll definitely need to check them out.
I'll Head Mounted Sideways. Just watch the music video. It's fucking phenomenal. And These Black Claws, like that whole first record is just mwah. But those would be the two to start with. But Jacob and I started writing a record, and I enlisted Devin Clark from Cane Hill, a fucking incredible monster of a drummer. And if you've never heard of Cane Hill, that's New Orleans' finest metal outfit, I would say. Okay. Younger guys, of course, but those guys are absolutely phenomenal and brutal, but like super catchy songwriting while still being heavy as fuck. And then James Laskew, of course, I brought him back. He's one of my favorite bass players, man. I describe his sound as if Justin Chancellor and Paul Gray had a baby. That would be James.
I can actually see that. And I know in video form, because we're all dicking off in music videos for the most part, there's still some semblance of realism that's there with the performance aspect of when we're playing. But just seeing some of the things that he was doing with the bass in the videos, I would love to see do live, because like I've done similar stuff and I know what kind of sound it can create. And I would just love to be able to see it live, just to see the sound that he gets out of it.
We did our album release show at District 142 up here in Michigan, one of the most beautiful venues I've ever been to. Absolutely love Julie and her entire team. But we brought James up to do the first live version of Do This on My Own, and like the way that he wrote that bass line, like it's because that song is about me being lost on an island in the Bahamas, and it was actually scary as fuck. But like when he understood the story, and we had already had the guitars and the drums, everything, and then he added the bass later, but he captured the essence of what it felt like when I was running down that road, because there would be like a quarter of a mile of just absolute pitch blackness, and then you would come to one single little light that was dim, because it's an island in the Bahamas.
It's not like
where you've got all these lights everywhere, and like
I mean,
while I would be and it was like a video game too, man, because like you would get to the spot under the light, and it's like, all right, here's a safe spot.
The fucking the diamond pops up over your head.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but like when you would leave that, and when I was running, because dude, you better believe I was at a hefty jog / almost sprint, going from one spot to the next. But like, dude, it felt like, because you know how your mind can play tricks on you. It felt like there were monsters running after me. And like the way that James did that bass line, it really sounds like there's something sinister behind the music, but it's driving the music, because that was what was making me run faster, was the thought that something was behind me.
Dude, that's
and
awesome.
The way that James just encapsulated that feeling with his hands, like he's one of my favorite bass players on the planet, man. He's so fucking good, dude.
That's
sorry,
great.
I didn't mean to jump off in the
No, that's exactly what this is about.
Talk about my dudes.
That's exactly what this is about with the Metal Forge. Is we do get off on tangents and we do tell stories, because not everything can be that. How did you get started? I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about the music and the fun of everything, you know. Kind of live vicariously through people, because I don't tour as much anymore, so I just do this now, and this is my touring. But
it's still dope, man.
Couple questions I wanted to ask. One is a follow-up from the Sweetwater conversation a second ago.
Sure.
What is it? You don't have to mention any names, but what is the worst employee firing you ever saw happen?
Ooh, I would say that came after I left.
Okay, so it's somebody you know that got fired.
Yeah. And I felt fucking disgusting for like even having talked to him. And,
so it was something outside of the music.
What's that?
So it was something outside of like getting a bunch of gear and not paying for it.
This guy was a total piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
Behind closed doors. And it was one of those, like, while I was still working there, like, you can tell. You can tell people's energy. You can tell when something's wrong. Because, like, dude, I'm a weird fucking guy, bro. Like, I got red hair 24/7. This isn't just something I do
too, though.
Like, I run my bid. Like, when I run up my business and I show up to bids, like, in these $1 million homes, and, like, people see me, they're like, the fuck? And I'm like, yo, what's up? But, like, I know I'm a weird fucking guy. But this guy made me feel uncomfortable. And turns out we were right.
He was a real sleazebag.
I'm talking, they found like child pornography on this guy's work computer.
I had something similar happen like that with a dude that listened to the show. I had something similar like that happened with a dude who listened to this show. He came to all the fucking metal shows in town and everything. Was a fucking teacher. Not gonna say names, but yeah, it was fucked up. So we're not gonna talk about him anymore. Fuck that shit. Yeah. And the other thing was how was the budget on the video where it's raining? Because it's raining and you're playing instruments, so naturally they're probably one would think they're going to be, for the most part, trashed.
Dude, believe it or not, I've got the SG elsewhere, but this was the bass that we used.
I love that bass.
I still record ideas with this. It's totally fine.
And I love that bass. I love the blue and the gold pick guard and the block inlays. Jesus, I love that bass. And it's like it's not a Steve Harris, but it looks like something Steve would play, and it's beautiful.
Thank you very much. I really, really enjoyed that bass. It plays wonderfully too, man. It's I think it's that 40th anniversary Squire Jazz or P bass. I'm sorry.
So actually that still works. So that's cool. Did you have to have it reset up and all of that, and you just let it dry out?
I let it all dry out, and I would have kept the drum kit, but like, dude, hauling around an entire drum kit, like just for it to sit somewhere is kind of a pain in the ass. So I ended up giving it to a really awesome little boy who took lessons from School of Rock. He's still there over in Canton, Michigan. And they have a really cool program where they invite in, younger kids.
I'm familiar.
They'll teach them guitar, bass, drums, all that good stuff.
And put them in a band and and let them go.
Yeah, dude, and they'll have little concerts at venues and stuff, and like parents and friends will come out. It's really, they do something very cool there, and I really believe in it, because I feel like, me being a little nerdy kid who got made fun of, but I latched onto my guitar, and instead of partying in high school like a lot of other of my friends did, I crafted my instrument, and I got good at something, and I mean, dude, here I am because of that. So like, if I just really believe in that mission of instilling music into the younger generation, and
I agree,
educating them, you know. So it was really cool to give away that drum kit, just because like his parents couldn't afford the kit, you know, and like he had been actually practicing, and like he was showing all the signs of wanting to do this. So it turned out really great. But yeah, dude, I bought a drum kit, I bought the bass, I bought the guitar, and luckily, being that I'm an artist with Gibson guitars, which I always representing some way, somehow.
For sure, yeah. I see it in the background. Hey,
you know,
I've got one too, man.
Hell yeah, SG baby.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Black Sabbath fan, so I mean, the Hand of Doom is always there.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, so you bought all the stuff, and then you donated the drum set to the kid, and that's awesome, because that's something that I think this year I've realized the most in this past year, 2023 for me, was what I realized is, people, when you get to your 40s and shit like that, most bands don't want to continue playing shows because their friends nobody shows up, right? I mean, whether or not you fly or what the fuck ever else, the problem is there's no youth pull there to build your audience, to build your craft, because you're rebelling. Yeah, that's what rock and roll and metal and shit was all about, telling people how you felt about certain things, right? About certain issues, whether it be political, religious, fucking just, you had a nice fucking day. You could make lyrics over everything. But the difference is like, you're singing to your friends, but when you're in your fucking 40s and your friends have kids and you have kids, I mean, they already know that the system sucks. They're part of the system with you. They're not, but that fucking 16 and 17 and 18-year-old that's still young that doesn't know the system sucks is who you should be singing to.
Right.
And that's where I think, the pool gets soiled, for a while, and you want to, you give back to the fucking youth, dude, because those are the ones who are gonna fucking make your crowd who they are.
For sure, man, for sure.
Play as many all ages shows as you can. Seriously.
And but jumping back, dude, so I had to buy a bunch of dump instruments for the music video, of course. I had my friend, my wonderful friend and brothers, Damon, who plays guitar for A Virtue, and then my buddy Devin, and he's playing for a really big country artist. I think he's still with Artist Snell down in Nashville, I believe so. But like, I didn't have band members at the time, and both of those guys are such pros. They look great on stage and in video, and they hooked me up. But I had to, and then of course renting the studio, and then the filmography and all the special effects that we had. And I mean, I did all that by myself. Like, I don't have a financial backer. I don't have rich parents. I do have a painting business that I own and work my ass off with, so that's how I can afford stuff. And,
right.
It was a big budget. I will. It's the most money I've ever spent on a music video, and I mean, honestly, that music video cost way more than it cost me to make the entire Full Circle record.
I get that though, because of the things that you have to do it.
Dude, not everybody. We rented rain machines and you know, and the wardrobe, man, I had to buy clothing that made me look like a Ken doll for when I was on the shelf in the video. And then we had wardrobe change for when we were in the shipping container, from when we were outside in the rain. I mean, it was a big production. It was fun though, man. Like, I felt like I was doing something real. Like, I mean, dude, like, Jackson had, you know, cranes with lights and cameras, and like it felt like I was on a real fucking movie set. Like, I was in $1 million facility. There's, you know, like, it was like a 500,000 square foot warehouse, and they had all these different sets built it's one of the coolest things I've ever done, for sure. And I don't regret spending one single red cent on it, because I mean, it came out as, for me, I think it's a beautiful piece of art, you know, and it really encompassed what the song's about. But we made it almost like Toy Story meets, you know, kind of like that Barbie vibe, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely. To a degree, like it had that Barbie vibe to it. So, you know, it was just fun. It wasn't like, hey, we're gonna look all grungy and stand in front of this cool thing. It was like, no, we made a story, and I feel like we executed it really well. So.
I do too, and that's one of the things I always think bands miss out on, because there's so many just performance videos of live performance, and that's cool. But I guarantee you, like, unless you're a fan, most people are watching like a minute of it and skipping to the next video. Unless it's a song, like you're playing fucking Hotel California or something. I might watch it just to see if it's a serviceable rendering of the song or if it's a train wreck, you know, because I like watching train wreck covers. I'm not going to lie. But no, I mean, doing an actual video is, I think, what it's about, you know, doing the themed music video that fucking ZZ Top made famous first, you know, where it wasn't just a bunch of fucking random images shuffled together, that it was actually a fucking, you know, it actually told somewhat of a story, you know, and that's what matters. You know, that's the attention to detail in music that really makes me, as an artist myself, go, fucking somebody else gets it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it fun, man. And like the one that we just shot with Jason Arntz from Revo Media for our song DNA, I mean, it's basically centered around an AA meeting, and we had like 9 different extras show up, and they were so wonderful. And we had like these different characters. Like we had the Regina George from Mean Girls character. We had the stoner. We had the drunk that wants to leave the meeting. We had the self-obsessed girl. We had the goody two-shoes. We had the rocker chick. We had my goofy ass. And we had like the strong silent type, you know, that's just kind of like, it was fun, man. And I feel like we're continuing with each video that we shoot to step it up like that. 'Cause I want to tell stories, man, because there's stories behind every single song that we have on the record. And like you said, man, like, you don't just want to do a performance shot. Who cares about that? Like, I want to make art. That's what I'm here to do. Absolutely. I want to make art.
Absolutely. And I agree with that. And honestly, that's one of my things too, is like, you know, I want to get the independent band, and I want to do it, but it's like convincing my other 2 guys to do it too. It's like, for whatever the next thing what we release, I want to do a video for each of them. And release the video as it's the whole thing, and you see the movie.
Yeah.
But it's such an undertaking that it would be like, geez, man, to have them both drop at the same time, you know. But no independent band, I don't think, has the budget to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to start looking. There's at least 3 more music videos that I want to film from this record. And the songs I would pick, one would definitely be In Silence. The song that we did with Jenny Nord from Rave the Requiem. They're a Swedish band. I got to know them while I was recording in Gothenburg last year with Jacob, and as soon as I heard their band, their song Ophelia was the first track that I heard, and I just absolutely fell in love with Jenny's voice, man. Like, she has a very Lacuna Coil thing about her voice,
right?
Even like, and obviously, like, Christina Scabia is from Italy, and then they're from, you know, Sweden, but they share. There's something shared. Whereas you can, and you can tell that Jenny has.
They're like a dyad.
But
you
it
can
just reminded me of Lacuna Coil in the best way, you know? So we're definitely thinking about me going over there or her coming over here, which I'm not sure what we're going to do, but I almost kind of want to do a video where it's just her and I and like a black room, but there's like a divider right there, but it looks like, but it's a wall, but you know, the camera can see us like, you know, trying to get to one another. And then the other one I want to do is World Apart with Paul McCoy. He's a really good buddy of mine. You might remember Paul from the band 12 Stones, and he was also in the Evanescence song Wake, Bring Me to Life. He was the male vocalist on that track, but that one I kind of want to make just like a funny Western of us sitting down, we're having a great time playing a game of cards, and then I realize he's cheating or I've done something fucky. Like, we realized the other two, like, we were trying to fuck each other over, and then like we have a stupid, you know, gunfight, and then there's a big saloon, like, just brawl, and then, you know, like, I could have Jed playing the piano, like he's you know, that's a percussive instrument.
Yeah,
so
for
the
sure.
Drummer on the piano, like, and Chris is over there with the you know,
the stand-up bass. Yeah,
like,
dude,
I
that's
think that would
awesome.
be the funniest shit in the world. And then I also want to do one for Vultures, and I want to do like a WCW NWO wrestling match, because that's kind of what I wrote that song about, man. Like, I felt like I was in a wrestling ring and I'm working on my shit, and my opponent's depression, anxiety, you know, anger, sadness, all of it, you know, but I have an audience watching, and it's like, hey, you know, fuck off, I'm working on myself, I got this. But I felt like that's what Vultures is. It's that spectacle. So I want to make it into a wrestling match, but there's
that's awesome
layers there, you know. So I've always loved the idea of storyboarding music videos and writing out, you know, scenes and things like that. So, and now that I'm starting to get into that position to where I can afford to hire these people to help me bring these visions in my head to life, it's been really fun. Like, I feel like I've been doing some of the most creative work I've ever done, you know. Now, whether or not it's good or not, you know, that remains to be, you know, determined by the rest of the world. But I'm having fun.
Hey,
so
that's it right there. And I think that's the perfect place. And as long as it's satisfying what you want to do, that's all that fucking matters, really, because it's your art. And I saw a great interview with Rick Rubin, and it's been like snippet and like reeled and whatever you fucking want to do. And it's a great mention of where he says, when you start making art for you, people will like it. When you take the conscious effort out of, and I'm paraphrasing, when you take the conscious effort out of making art for a fan base and just start solely making it for yourself, not only do you get the reward of making it for you, but then they get the reward of that as well. And then,
it's
and then most
at
of them
that
understand.
point. You're not just trying to dial it in, you know. And I mean, Heartache writes a really beautiful song.
It does.
What angry song or a ballad or whatever it is, man. Like, and you know, that's what I've been hopefully tapping into. But that's why I almost am kind of happy that I don't have a record label, you know, because I don't have someone saying, hey, you're going to go to this producer, you're going to write these songs, they're going to have this hook, blah, 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 blah. It's like, with the people that I'm starting to work with, like, and it's almost the same as like with my painting business. Like, if I can sit down and have a real conversation with a client before I start working for them, 9 times out of 10, like, those are the people that I'm actually going to remain friends with. And there's been a good number of them that, like, I find that connection, and we're still working together almost 2 years later, but we've maintained a great friendship. And it's the same thing with music, man. Like, Jacob Herman, you know, great example. He's the first new producer that I've worked with in 12 years. Matt LaPlante has been my guy forever, you know, because he's one of my best friends. And whenever we first met, we kicked things off, you know, and that's why I worked with him for another 10 years after that. But then, like, when Jacob and I met each other, dude, we were having the worst session in the entire world. Like, this is the most expensive meet and greet I've ever done. And he was like, oh, dude, for sure, this guy's going to say, fuck you, I don't want to work with you past this. But once he and I separated all the outside noise and we went and sat in a control room together, we sat about this close to one another and we were looking at each other in the face, and we just started handing my guitar back and forth to one another, like, oh yeah, blah, and then what if we blah blah blah, and then we made this bond. And then I was like, dude, I gotta make a record with you. Like, what we have going right here, I can't ignore that. And that's why I like being in charge of my own shit, because, like, I want to have a connection with who I make a record with, man. Because, like, dude, I could hire Rick Rubin, you know what I mean, if I had that money. But if he doesn't believe in what I'm doing, and he doesn't feel a connection to me, it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, it's gonna be great because it's fucking Rick Rubin, but is it gonna be the piece of art that it should have been? Probably not.
Right, which is why when you look at stuff like the things that he has done, like NWA and Slayer and fucking Johnny Cash and Tom Petty and Metallica and those bands that and Black Sabbath, those bands that he has done, yeah, he does feel a personal connection to a lot of that stuff too, because of whether it be in the friend zone of a lot of those guys, or, you know, just, you know, what you just fucking feel in general. And and I totally get that. And that's where I think a lot of the disillusionment comes, is where you had brought up, if I had a label telling me you're going to go to so-and-so producer, and yeah, there is a lot of that on those, you know, like the big fucking people still, like Sony and shit, but, you know, for the most part. But like, and I think that's another disillusionment with most musicians in a hard rock metal capacity, is they look at a producer as telling them what to do. Take your song and fucking trash all of it and change this to this and that to that. But it's not that. It's not always that. There is a relationship aspect that you have to, you know, once you understand, like, maybe you might not work well with somebody, but maybe that's what you need to get your ass in gear to make the best possible product.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is chumming up with friends and saying, hey, you know, Ricky, do you want to fucking produce the next Overload album? You know, or whatever. And it might work. Who knows? It's just it's an alternative set of ears.
Oh, exactly. It's the extra band member for that record, you know?
Yeah.
That's the way that I've always viewed it. And, you know, I will say, like, even like Matt and Jacob have been this way, man. Like, dude, there have been times where we've gotten frustrated as fuck with one another, like throughout the in the middle or post-production or whatever. But, like, those guys have, like, I love the way that they push me, man. And that's what I want in a producer. Like, yeah, I love it when we can be buddy, but, like, I want you to get some shit out of me. Like, dude, Matt caused me, and I mean, I caused it because I wasn't singing properly, but Matt, we got the note, but, like, I caused myself a hernia when I was recording Hostility. But we got there, and it sounds dope. And then, like, when we were doing vocals with Jacob, man, like, dude, if there could have been a fly on the wall to hear just some of the shit that he would say, and then, like, we would get through a take, and I'd be so pissed, or I'd be like he would get me in the moment to where I was mad or I was sad, and, like, he'd be like, "Are you crying?" I'd be like, yeah, man, just go again. Let's go. But I like it when someone can push me to that extreme, because then I'm going to get a take that has real emotion behind it. And if it's a little fucked up, that's okay. Cause that's
it's
human,
the real emotion, and that's the therapy aspect of being the artist, in my opinion.
100%, man. I mean, I'm getting to write about stuff that has kept me up at night for the last 20 years of my life, when I, and it's cool to be getting this out in a positive manner, and hopefully one day, my music will do what Linkin Park, Papa Roach, Mudvayne, Slipknot, Taproot, what those bands did for me as a young, angry young man. And I didn't know how to say what I needed to say, but they sure as fuck did.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what it's all about right there. A friend of mine, before we switch over to Derailed here, a friend of mine told me earlier on the phone when I was like, yeah, it's this band Riding with Killers. The guitar player and vocalist also plays with Taproot and blah, blah. And I was explaining him because he hadn't heard of you all. And I was like, yeah, and I sent some videos. And he was like, that's really fucking awesome. He's like, I like that. I was like, yeah. It's like, it reminds me of, when I was, 19, 20, in, 2002, 3, shit like that. And it's like, it still has its place, and I love it for that reason. And what my friend had said to me, he's like, that's awesome that you do this, because it's like, you're an equal opportunity offender on your show. If it's anything, you give people a place to get their stuff out. And it's like, I do, because that's what it's all about. It's all about whatever, dude, I dig a lot of music, and your music is no different. And I dig it, and it does mean something, and it does speak. And, the emotion behind stuff, if you can make people feel that, bam, there it is.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Keep up the great fucking work for that shit. For sure. So Derailed. This is 5 random questions about you as a person. They're pulled from the deck, as I said in the little thing before we started recording. Is there a popular movie out there that you absolutely hate?
Oh, yet. Yeah, man. Black Adam. That movie was a total piece of shit.
I don't think that's a popular or an unpopular opinion there. I think that's.
Yeah.
I think everybody hated Black Adam. I think that's honestly. I think that's the reason why The Rock turned heel, is because Black Adam bombed.
Yeah, I just remember it had a big budget, and you couldn't look anywhere without it just being in your face. But it's weird because I'm a big movie buff, man. I love a lot of different movies and a lot of different genres of movies, from musicals to silent film to whatever the hell have you. But yeah. That's hard, man. That was my first knee-jerk reaction, but you're right. That's not a very popular movie.
No, I think it's that the people are kind of on the DCCU. I don't think they just can't get their shit together. There's too many fucking people involved, for one. So yeah, I wish they could, because they have fucking potential. As many people talk shit on Christopher Nolan now, his 3 Batman films were really good.
Hell yeah, they were.
Of the era where Superman Returns came out, and those 3 films, come on. Those 3 films were good. Or were great compared to anything that they've done in comparison since Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Which sucks too, because that's the one that they fired fucking Tim Burton on.
Yeah.
Because that was supposed to be Burton's last of his trilogy.
Could you imagine if we would have actually gotten the last Burton film?
I know, it would have been great. It would have been great. Okay, deal breakers in the relationship era. Doesn't like music, especially country music. Is that a deal breaker?
Doesn't like country music?
Or doesn't like music, but most of all hates country music.
Oh, I mean, you know, I don't think that's a deal breaker. I mean...
Yeah, because some country today sucks.
Dude, most country today sucks, I feel like. I like old school. Like, if it's Johnny Cash or Waylon Jennings or, you know, like that old Memphis...
Oh, yeah.
You know, era, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like that's also a very different genre from what is popular in today's world. So... if you hate country, I would assume you're talking about today's country, and I'm probably in line with you.
Right.
You know, not to say that there's not a good song in today's country that's out there, because I'm sure there is. I just haven't heard it yet, but I also don't pay attention either.
No, I get that. Yeah, I don't really. I think we all get to pay attention to some country, especially during football season. We all got to. But yeah,
I just want one day where she's not in my news feed, man. You know, that's it.
Well,
like,
see, we're talking on Zoom about it, and she's probably going to pop up here in a minute. I said we're on Zoom and we're talking about it, and with suggestive,
like, God damn it,
with suggestive text and shit like that, and Instagram is always listening. You know, we get the that's why we get her in the feed.
Yep.
What ethical or sustainable food habits do you try to maintain?
I and luckily my wife and I do this together, but we're mainly pescatarian. So we eat very heavily vegetarian, but we get our meat from fish and chicken.
Sure.
But I mean, dude, I'll have we'll go a couple days, we'll do like tofu and veggies, or like we mix it up. So like we try to eat a bunch of vegetables and fruits. We don't really eat a lot of boxed items, you know, like don't drink sodas anymore. So we try to maintain a pretty healthy, balanced lifestyle. I used to weigh almost 250 pounds, and I'm only 5'8". I'm a short guy, and I got down to 160. I've been able to luckily maintain that. So that's we try to be pretty adamant about what we put in our body.
For sure, man. Hell yeah. So you had mentioned earlier you wanted to do a NWO style WCW music video.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. And I am a huge wrestling fan. So are you a wrestling fan as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've fallen off in recent years. I mean, I was WCW, NWO, WWE, WWF, and then like I fell off a little bit after that.
So who would be the most overrated in your opinion?
Most overrated? Ooh. I'm going through the list right now. I don't know, maybe Triple H.
Ah, goddamn, really?
I don't know.
Hey. No. I get it.
I'm kidding.
No. Hey, I totally get it. I see what everybody else sees. I think he's an amazing talker. I think he had an steroided out physique for a while, but he's a Motorhead fan, so. As am I, so fucking yeah. But like, yeah, I totally see what it is with everybody saying that.
You know, I'll say some of my favorites were always was it Booker T?
Okay.
Goldberg.
And I was gonna ask, who did you think was underrated?
Underrated. Maybe McFoley.
I could see that, yeah. I think he had a lot of. I think he had
just
he had
awesome little cult following too.
Sure, he does, but I think as an actual wrestler, without all the abuse and the hardcore stuff, I think he could get it done when he didn't have to do crazy shit. So yeah.
Oh, dude, he did all the craziest of things, man.
Of course. Yeah, but you know, there were times out there that he didn't. For me, I would say most overrated in his American career is Hogan.
Okay, I can see that too.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy certain aspects of run with him, like the $1 Million Man buying the championship from Andre, from the crooked referee back in the 80s. I love that angle because it set up the title tournament for Hogan to go have back surgery and I think he filmed a movie, and they let Savage have the belt for a year. The other one, obviously, when he did go NWO, and I do like how he and Bobby Heenan did their thing. Heenan still never cheered for the NWO, even though he was a heel commentator, because he hated Hogan so much. He would not cheer for him. So I do enjoy some of those runs, but not his entire career. His Japan career, however, is amazing. He fucking does fucking crazy shit. He does flips. He takes bumps. Yeah, it's awesome. His Japan career. Underrated. Underrated, I would say, would be somebody like an Al Snow.
Yeah.
So since you said you were a film buff, out of these 4 films, Kill Bill as one whole volume, Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards, or Django Unchained, which one would you? Inglourious Bastards?
Oh, I'm a huge World War II fan, and I don't know. And I mean, dude, Colonel Hans Lander, bro, like, he's again one of those just demented, horrible characters, but he's so charismatic. You can't help but love the guy and be interested in him. And it's a weird, and I love how they create that strain with the viewer. And it's like, man, I love this guy, but wait, why do I love this guy? Because he's a Nazi, and he's obviously very skilled at what he does, and he's a devious piece of shit, but man, I can't take my eyes off of him.
Dude, no, you're absolutely right in that. And honestly, it's really the same thing as Tony Soprano. You know, you got to understand, Tony is a fucking murderer, a criminal that David Chase makes you feel bad for. That you're just like, man, Tony's such a good guy, man. Fuck. And Quentin did the same thing with Christoph Waltz, you know?
Dude, Christoph Waltz is one, like when he jumped into Spectre for 007, I was like, yes, fucking finally we got Christoph Waltz as a Bond villain. Let's go, baby.
And it's amazing. You know, just his, like, I don't know, even in like The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
When he's in that and shit, and he's just it's just so fucking good.
Wonderful actor, wonderful. But yeah, I love Inglourious Bastards.
For sure, I totally get that, dude. I have one last question, but before we get to it, as always, links are listed below. So give a like, a share, and a follow. Go buy merch. Go see these guys when they play. Go buy albums, because hey, that's what we do these days, right? We still buy albums. I know I do. I still get cassette tapes even. So yeah. Anyway, if they're going to release it on tape, you should buy the fucking tape too, even if you don't listen to it. It's nice to have.
Like my homies in Non-Point did. Look at that.
Fuck, dude, is that a fucking actual player?
Yes, dude, it's a Bluetooth.
They released a Non-Point Walkman.
It's so cool. And you know, there's a Taproot one of those.
Hell yeah, dude.
They put my ugly mug in here. It's pretty sweet.
Come on, man. Do you have any shout outs you want to give, or anything else you would like to promote?
Yeah. I'd love to say thank you to all the musicians that have worked with me, both in studio and live on both records, and to both of my producers, Matt and Jacob. I love you guys. I'm such fans of every single one of those people. And it's been amazing to create and perform with all of them. Big shout out to Trent at Gibson and Mesa Boogie. my buddy Matt at Seymour Duncan, all of our friends at GHS Strings and Puck Hockey, I'm sorry, and 64 Audio. Be sure to check out our new music video for Novelty, which is streaming on YouTube. The new record, Full Circle, is on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all that good stuff. Stoked to play Sick New World with Taproot this year. Got a lot of really great festival appearances. Can't wait to play some Danny Wimmer shows this summer. So just really looking forward to seeing everybody and getting back out to the world again. And yeah, man, be on the lookout because we're coming.
Hell yeah.
All of us, both bands. We're gonna fuck you up.
Oh yeah, we're all excited for it too, dude. Final question of the day: would you want to go to space if you had the opportunity?
Probably. Now, well, hold on. Okay, hold on. What's the parameters here? Like, is this like that bullshit Ocean Gate shit where some dumbass millionaire is going to be, we're going to space with a $35 Logitech controller? Or do like I get to go with like NASA or
it would
like,
say it would be like a legit space visitation.
If it's legitimate, I'll go.
Okay.
I'd probably do it.
Right on. Yeah, you know, I think I would
my
too.
My grandpa was an aviator. I grew up in airplanes with him, so I love flying. And yeah, if there was a safe means to and from, I'm in.
Right on. Yeah, I would definitely do that. I would have liked to have been that one guy who did the skydive from the atmosphere.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that.
Like I've never done a skydive, but I've always thought it would be awesome. I exceed the weight limit for it. That they're comfortable with anyways. So, yeah, fuck, I would do it. I would go to space. I mean, who knows what you could find out there. I mean, I'd like to be a space explorer, honestly, if it were ever a thing.
Lightsaber out there.
Huh?
Maybe I'll find a lightsaber out there.
Or,
in the Jedi religion.
You know, maybe Klingons are real, or Vulcans, you know? And what's the thing they always say? Gun. If you can imagine it, it could exist or whatever.
Yeah.
So, fuck yeah, dude.
There's got to be some incredible stuff out there, you know?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
There's also got to be some incredibly scary shit out there, too. Like xenomorphs or something like that.
I mean, or, you know, what's in the ocean.
Dude, I love the ocean, though, bro. It's if I would have been smart enough, I would have been a marine biologist. But I suck at math and science.
Right.
But I love sharks. I just love marine mammals, dude. They're so cool.
I do too. They're awesome. So, dude, thank you so fucking much, Taylor. This has been awesome. I appreciate this.
You had a blast, man. I love how you're like, dude, it's only gonna be like 30 minutes, and we blew past the hour mark like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know, and it's just like,
But you know what? That's when you know you're having a good talk.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's fun, bro. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being in the Metal Forge this week. On our way out today from Riding with Killers, what do you want to play?
Like a song to carry us out?
Yeah.
Dude, let's go. Since it's the Metal Forge, let's do Vultures.
All right. You heard him. This is Vultures.
Somewhere across the line, if it's Ryan, that was the one who's leading the way. Somewhere across the line, if it's Ryan, that was the one who's leading the way. Take your time while you cut me into pieces. Wait, I'm fine, I'm just fighting on my demons. Stay in mind while I count out all your reasons. I said, I'm fine, I'm just fighting on my demons. Trapped inside
In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now.
Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.